Good afternoon, and welcome to the Board of Health meeting of October 16th, 2023. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording this meeting, please notify the chairman. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29th, 2023 signing of an act of 2023 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 20, until March 31st, 2025. This meeting of the Chatham Board of Health is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to the proceeding while in progress may do so by calling 1-508-945-4410, conference ID number 510-288-574#, or joining the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV Channel 8, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. And now I'll turn the meeting over to Chairman Noble Hanson.
Thank you. It shall be the policy of this board to conduct its meetings under the open meetings law so as to encourage public participation whenever time permits and as part of agenda item discussions. Okay, so we have two things on the agenda and some old business. And first we can establish a quorum. When I call your name, please say here. Carol Boyce. Here. John Beckley.
Here.
Ron Broman.
Here.
Dick Edwards.
Here.
And Noble Hanson, I'm here. Okay, first on the agenda is continuation of a show cause hearing for Matthew Nutting, 130 Old Queen Anne Road, regarding the sewer connection order. It's been on the agenda several times, and we were waiting to get the signed contract to do the sewer hookup, and I think Judy has an update on that. On Mr.
Yeah, you have in your packet a copy of the signed contract. The last time we had the contract without a signature of the owner, and now it is signed, so he is under contract with A&S Construction to get the connection completed. So I think that's all we really needed at this point. He's moving forward with the connection.
Very good.
So.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what we just want it to be signed, and so
So
all set, and we're all
so we
set?
can just close the hearing. Yep.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on anything. It's just,
You can vote to close the hearing, just a formality.
all right, why don't we take a vote by voice to close the continuation hearing on Matthew Nutting, 130 Old Queen Anne Road. All those, somebody can make a motion to close the,
I would say accept and close.
accept and close the continuation.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's all set then.
Perfect.
Okay, and then the next thing is short-term regulation registration process with IT Craig Rowe. And this has to do, I think, with the online website registration for short-term rental regulation.
Yep, that's correct. Hi, I'm Craig Rowe, IT Director. It's nice to see you all in person. I think the last time I was on the Board of Health meeting was right in the middle of COVID, and I think you guys are meeting every week. But props to you all. You did an awesome job with the hybrid meetings and the online meetings. It was great. So you had a pretty busy schedule. But getting to the short-term rentals, so we have built, just a little history, the softwares that we're using, we use for all permitting. We're using it for the building department. We're using it for parts of the health department. We'll be expanding the health department's use of software through OpenGov. OpenGov is kind of a one-stop shop for all permitting for people. So when they log in and create an account, they're going to see all of their applications. So for example, the building, anyone doing a building, let's say a builder in town is building, a house or a renovation. if they apply for the permits, they're going to see all the building permits, they're going to see all the sheet metal, they're going to see HVAC, whatever they apply for. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for everybody. It also does renewals, it does a lot of features. So we can put any building permits there. So I thought that was the best approach for this process, so that you log in once, all your information is going to be there. If it stays the same, you just have to renew it, make your payment, and you're done each year. So moving forward, we'll be able to also geolocate every location where there are permits, and I can give you a little bit of the back end on it. But basically what's going to happen is they're going to go on to a link. Right now we only have the building permits listed here, but I've opened up the health side of it for now temporarily. And they'll go to a page that looks like this here. Going to ask them to proceed forward, and then they'll log in. I'm already logged in. They'll create an account and then be able to log in. And when you create the account, you put in all your pertinent information, and I'll show you as I proceed forward with an application. You'll find here, the building department, and just to take a quick look, this is the building department permits. This is how many permits they can, you can apply for directly online here. About, I would say 80% of these permits are all paid online. So when they submit it, they make the payment, goes through the process right online. We don't have to worry about checks and cash. The ones that are a little bit weird are the larger building permits, because that's a calculation based upon how big the project is, et cetera. But it's all kind of a one-stop shop here. We also have some conservation applications here. We've started with the administrative review. That's also in this software. So if somebody's doing something, that requires a administrative review, they come right here. And as we expand it out, we'll have more of the health permits in here. So I'm going to go into the health permits. And this is short-term rental agreement. Short-term rental application, we put in a little bit of information here, effective, when it came into effect. The applicant's just gonna go in and hit select. And then there's some information here about the short-term rental agreement. Pretty straightforward. Judy provided the information from the town regulations and the state information here. So before they go in to proceed with their application, they can click here and make sure that they're obviously meeting the town requirements and the state requirements. I believe with the state, and Judy can confirm this, with the state to do a rental, you have to have a state rental application, or a state rental number, is that correct?
Yes, it's a Department of Revenue
Yep.
registration that they can do right online through that link.
Yeah,
Or that
and-
brings them to the information for doing that.
And as far as I know, a lot of the softwares that people rent through VRBO, Rent My House, whatever they are, Airbnb, they already require them to have that.
So they will provide that information to us on our website.
Our form has that number, that requests that number, yes,
Be provided by them
yes.
to us, okay.
Yep, they have to do it. And I believe that the bigger companies like Airbnb, VRBO, they require you to do that ahead of time, because they basically do your accounting in the background. So, we have rentals in Vermont, and it does the same thing, where it just sends me the information at the end of the tax year. It says, this is what you took in. So, and it also creates a form, a document, so that you can submit it to the state. So we don't do that, but the state registration ties all that stuff together when they go to do their income taxes. So they're just going to click apply online. And because I've already created an account, all my information came over. So this is all just my basic information, contact information, my name, my email address, my mailing address, and I just select next here. And then this links to the assessors database. So we're going to go in here, and we want to search a property. I'm going to use 549 Main Street, which is Town Hall. Obviously, we're not renting there, but I don't want to you know, if the economy gets any worse, we could end up renting there. Can rent out a couple of rooms. It's going to provide information here on the type of property that it is. Let me do just a search here. Let me go back one. And what I'll do is I will search a property that maybe change location here. I'll just randomly type in a number here. Let's look at this one here. First cab off the rank. It's going to give me information about the property, the owner's information. Usually, and I believe Judy and I had talked, this will be, the owner information is generally going to be the applicant information as well, unless, for an example, this one's in a realty trust, so it might, you know, there might be somebody, a different oversight, but in general, if people are renting through Airbnb and VRBO, this will be the owner information. Gives us a little bit of information on the property, the building year. This is a number for the assessors, lot area, multiple houses. I don't know what this nomenclature is. This is the assessors, but it's got all the basic information in here, book and page, building type. And then if it was on town sewer, I believe now it shows that it will be on town sewerage. So let me just go back here. I don't want to use that person's property. 549 Main Street. All right. So this is, once I've selected the property, I just hit next. And then select what type of dwelling it is. And all of these fields came from your discussion on the, I believe that you all decided on what the application should look like. So they're going to select a single family or a condominium, whichever it might be. We'll start out with a single family. It's going to hit next here. Now, the property manager rental agency, this, as I say, this all came from your discussion. So they're going to add a property manager. I'm going to just put Joe Smith in here. Phone number, and then an email.
Okay. Suppose it's owner occupied, and there's no such information for these two fields. What is the applicant gonna do then?
They can just proceed forward. They don't have to put any information
They can
in here.
skip these
Yep,
fields?
They can skip these fields. We didn't make them required just for that reason. If I'm the applicant and I filled out all the information already, there's no need for me to duplicate.
And going back a couple of slides, I see the word sewage appear. Now,
That was on the assessors. That's pulling over from the assessor's record card.
but sewage, what do you mean sewage? Does it mean
I
on
think it's if they're
sewer?
on town septic, yeah, if it's on town septic.
If it's on
Or
town?
it could be, I'm not sure, it's an assessor's thing, so I don't know what that comes over. It could mean
I
what
think-
type of sewerage is
Does
there.
it mean
might be-
on-site
I
or
think that
town?
might mean on-site, because Battlefield doesn't have sewer, so I think that means on-site sewer.
Yeah, I can double check with that for you,
That's
but
in
this
the
is pulling
assessors.
over from the assessor's database, and we
Okay.
might be pulling over too much info or not enough.
Oh,
But if this is an owner occupied and he's renting rooms in his house, he's still the manager, and his name has to be on there because he's the one we would contact if there are
Right.
complaints.
right. We'll get to that as we move
So
forward.
So this section has to be filled out.
So you would fill in the property owner's name where in the field it says property manager, even if there's
He's
no
the one that you call. If there's another manager, he could put a different name in, but this is
I think
who
as
we
you
would call
move
for
forward, you're
complaints.
going to see 24-hour contact info and all that. It's as part of the,
Yep, I can go back here. So, single family, so I've created, if I'm the applicant, I've posted up all my information. So let's run, we can do a couple here, no problem. Yep, go ahead.
So back when it pulled up the assessor database. Back when it pulled up the assessor database, did it pull down the assessor's count of how many bedrooms?
I did not see
I
that.
didn't, no, so it's in there, but it doesn't always jive
Not-
with health
yep.
department, so you just You didn't put it there at all?
All we're really pulling down from the assessors is the legal address and the
Yep.
map and parcel
Yeah,
and,
less
yeah.
confusion.
And I believe that your calculation is, your bedroom calculation is your bedroom calculation, and that's used for the septage.
Right.
So
Right.
everything else is,
Yep.
you know, they could say, well, it's really only a two-bedroom house. You know,
Doesn't matter.
it may be three, it may be one, who knows? So a lot of this is all on a system, as you go, as you all will understand, is moving forward is, you know, this is an honor system. They may say that it's two-bedroom unless we start to get inspections, which is probably eventually, I'm not sure where that's gonna go, but it's all honor system, so.
To start
Yes,
with.
yep.
Yep,
It's self-declared, it's not
Yes.
confirmed.
yep, self-declared, yep, self-declaration.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm just gonna do this one as I'm the property manager, and then we can do another one, not a problem. So I'm gonna hit next here. I don't have a property manager, I'm renting it myself. State registration number, this is where that came up. I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total occupancy, number of bedrooms per approved septic plan. So I'm gonna say, let's say I got a 5-bedroom house. I'm gonna hit 5 here, and I'll tab over, and it tells me it calculates out the occupancy automatically for you.
Number of bedrooms per approved septic or sewer plan in dwelling.
Yeah, and I think that came from your wording. Yeah, and if I change this to 2, gives me the total occupancy, so they can't say, well, you know, how many bedrooms is it? You know, I do 2.5 baths, so that doesn't matter, so it's whatever bedrooms are in the house. So you got
Right.
3 bedrooms, is gonna have an occupancy of 8 people, and they can't modify that. Whatever they plug in there comes over to the system.
Do we want to add the word rental after the word total? Total rental occupancy? Just,
Good.
Or
Is that a
allowed-
total
allowed
occupancy as
occupancy.
well? The question is that, you know, is that total occupancy of the house, no matter what, if you're on a
No.
septic?
No, it just applies to short-term rental.
Only applies to the rentals. So, yeah, we could add that in. We could-
Or-
if
or-
you-
total
Total allowed occupancy or?
yeah, total maximum occupancy, total maximum rental occupancy. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to occupy to that, but it would be,
Right,
we want to tie this back to rental occupancy.
yeah. So we'll add rental, yeah.
Yeah, and the question is here, playing devil's advocate. I have a 3-bedrooms house. I'm gonna rent 2 of the rooms. Do I put in 3 bedrooms or do I put in 2 bedrooms? If I live on premise?
I think
I
that's,
just playing devil's advocate
I
here,
think
'cause-
they should put the number of rooms that they're renting out.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you know, yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be a big problem.
No, I
we
don't
have
think it
a lot
is
of
either.
of properties like that, but that's something we can tweak as we move forward. But I would say
Mm-hmm.
that if it's a 4-bedroom house and they rent 2 rooms out,
They're not getting 2 plus 2, though. They're getting the exact number of rooms.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. That's
Yeah,
the-
So the
you know,
formula
so
changes.
And I only bring it up because I follow a lot of this rental stuff because I do have rental properties. And states like New York and cities of New York are actually requiring that if you're going to rent, you have to be an owner, occupier, renter. You
Right.
have to actually be in the house to rent out. So it's a really.
Well, that would be true for renting out single bedrooms.
That is correct, yep.
But if you want to rent out the house as a rental, you don't have to live
Yeah.
there then, I don't think, in New York.
Yeah, you could have, you know, multiple stories.
But
You know,
I mean, I
it's a little gray area, but we can adjust to the times and whatever regulations come
Yeah,
along.
I mean, it seems to me the occupancy would be the maximum possible occupancy for that short-term rental. Isn't that the number that we?
But you may
That's
have
the-
to,
That's the clearest one, otherwise you get into all kinds of whatever.
but you may have to
the
separate
potential-
room rental from, house rental.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, maybe we should keep it at the number of bedrooms in the house, and that's the total occupancy for the house, regardless of whether there is, it's owner occupied or not. So if you have 4 bedrooms, no matter how many rooms you're gonna rent, you still can't have more than 10 people, so.
So
Yeah,
one
you'll-
area we could do it here too is on this dwelling type, we could put in here room rental,
Room only.
room only. So let me just pop this in here, 2 rooms only.
Yeah, it can get
And then what it
complicated.
does,
Right.
right,
Yep. And then yet again, what we would do is you would leave this language in here and it would say total rental occupancy. So I've got a 3-bedroom house, I'm living in 1, 2 people, I'm gonna rent 2 of the rooms, and the total rental occupancy is 6. If I had a 3-bedroom house, I wouldn't
Right,
want 6 people
Right.
in
So
2
you could add the
bedrooms.
word rental, you could add the word rental there. Because somebody might have a house that has 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
He's renting 2
Only.
only, and his family has 6 people in the other 2 bedrooms,
Right. Which he can do.
which he can do.
Yep.
Right.
You can have 12 people in 2 bedrooms.
Formula
If you're
doesn't.
not renting them.
Yeah. Split levels.
So we say total rental occupancy.
right.
A split level house where you might have a downstairs basement and you don't offer a kitchen, you just offer, someone's here for a week and they just want somewhere to shower and hang out and do
You
whatever.
could be renting a carriage house, so it's,
Yeah, yep.
it sort of all becomes the same.
So, but these are good questions and good things to think about for the future as we start to build this out. As we get more and more applications and we can see what the general trend is.
Right.
I don't think Chatham's a big market where there's going to be renters in the house, owner-occupied rentals. I'm sure that only, just guesstimating here, I'm sure that only makes up a very small percentage.
And the ones, I think often the ones that we do have are registered as bed and breakfasts, so they don't even fall under this, so I don't think it's gonna be a huge issue.
Okay.
So this can be modified on the fly without a lot of administrative,
Oh, we can make changes to this form anytime. Yeah.
Anytime.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
very
Yep, we can
easily.
make changes to the form anytime.
Okay.
Just so long as you approve I would think that we probably want to go through a process where, the board either allows Judy to allow us to make the changes.
we could make a vote on the
Oversight,
change.
yeah.
Yeah,
Judy,
I mean, administratively, I think we can make minor changes to the
Yeah, that
form
would
as
be
we
easier
see.
because,
Yeah,
Judy
we don't
knows
need to
what
come to the board for,
You might need another field. You might need the
Yeah.
total number of bedrooms in the home per approved septic, number of bedrooms to be rented,
Yes.
and then allowed rental occupancy.
Right.
Would be 2.
Right.
or
The total
rented bedroom
occupancy.
plus 2.
The total occupancy ought to be based upon a whole home rental versus specific room rental. And then have calculations, questions following.
What I could do, just to make it quicker and easier for everybody, is I can change this here, instead of other, we could do room rentals, and then how many rooms you rent.
Yes.
And then when we get to this next stage here, if room rentals selected,
Then
it'll
they'll-
bring up the total number for the house, and it'll bring up another field for total numbers of rentals. So it'll be a clear delineation of that. We know how
2 per
many
room.
in the house, and then we know how many rentals.
right.
We could do that as well.
Yeah, I think you have to somehow bifurcate the calculations based upon you renting a single-family house or whether you're renting rooms only.
Right.
Yep.
So somehow you got to capture that.
Yeah, I can add rooms only, and we can separate it out. Yep.
Okay.
I got an idea for it, so I'll run it by Judy, and we can
Yeah, we can
calculate
tweak
it out
that,
there.
that's
And I
the,
would guess very quickly, Judy will get feedback if this is confusing to people. They'll be calling right away, so
Right.
yeah, people will call
you
us,
can modify it right off the bat,
Yeah.
then, yeah.
yeah.
One of the goals of this software is to not have people call, because you're gonna have 1,300 applicants.
Well,
What you're saying is terrific, though.
Yeah.
That we have the ability through you to adapt and modify. And as we get the first several hundred applications, questions are going to pop up. And if we think they're going to keep popping up, we go back to you and we
right.
fix it or clarify it, and then we hope that takes care of those.
Yep. A lot of this, from my understanding of the process, there's only really two areas that would require either a regulatory or a discussion by the board to make changes. One would be this: if you calculate out the dwellings differently, if you decide I'm going to do it, instead of, I think this calculation is, what's it, 2.5 per room, is it? Is that the
No,
calculation?
two
Per room.
times
Per
two.
bedroom.
Plus two.
Yeah, so if you change that calculation, you would have to make that decision.
Right.
And then on the affidavit, you would have to make the decision on the affidavit if you change any of the wording. They're really the only two areas that you would require
Right.
the board overview. And if Judy thinks we need to add fields, we can add as many fields as they want. They're
Okay.
going to be reviewing the information, so we can add those in as well. But let me proceed forward on this one. And this is just an application myself. And then where is the rental listed? I'm going to do, it's on Airbnb. Row. I'll just put this in here. I'm going to save that. And then where else is it listed? I've got it on VRBO.
So that would be the exact link to their listing?
This would be the exact link to their listing, yep.
Right.
And I think we need to put, it says here URL or advertise listing. So
Right.
they would need to go into their listing, cut and paste it.
Yeah,
So this would be one way
for us to check.
for us to randomly check
Yep,
and make sure the owner is in fact staying within the parameters that we have determined in the application.
Right.
Without us searching around for, well, how do we check this? It'll be right there,
yep.
right?
Now,
That's
but
our,
if it's listed, say, in Del Mar,
yeah,
there are 300 listings under delmar.com.
right. But this one will take us right to them.
Yep.
It's
They,
gonna-
Take it on Del Mar, but you'd still have,
No, this would be their exact
This
list.
would be their exact posting.
Their exact list,
So it would be delmar.com/
whatever,
whatever.
The name of the,
Blue Bay House,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever.
but this is a perfect tool for
Okay.
QA/QC for
Okay.
us
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
to randomly go through, well, let's pick every 10 and do a check, right? A random review of
Right.
the database if
Right.
you wanted to.
yep,
yep, it just required the town to have a generic Airbnb account. And we can set that up, and
Or if there's a
VRBO.
If there's a complaint, you can go here and then go to where it's listed and see what they put on the listing.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. That's crucial.
Now, one of the things with this, and the reason why we want the exact listing, and I think we need to have an account set up for Airbnb and VRBO, is sometimes you'll get the listing, but it won't give you all the information, and they suppress the exact address. It's a rental, it's on Main Street. I know our rentals are in a condo complex. We don't divulge the condo number. We just say, here's our rental, it's 2-bedroom, rented if you choose. So I think it'd be good for us to scrub down on that as well with a couple of accounts. We don't need to pay for them. We just log in and make sure that, they are meeting the guidelines.
okay. Sounds good.
So we can add as many in here as you want. If you list it, if it's private listing, where is it listed at? Local realtor, something like that. We'd ask them to provide the local realtor, Joe Myth Realty. Okay, so each of those are going to populate the fields. So now we've got where that's listed. We can put in as many as you want here. You go next. Do you dispose of trash? So if it's self, it moves on to next. If it's commercial pickup, you got to put the hauler's name in. Joe Smith, scheduled pickup. Monday. Oh,
This would be good for complaint investigations too.
And that's all right off of our form, yeah?
Right.
Monday morning, smoke detectors. So you require the smoke detectors. What we've done is I tried to streamline it as best as possible, and I actually talked with the fire inspector regarding this. We separated out basement, first floor, second floor, third floor. So if it's a basement, you'd put the specific location, let's say, near,
Top of stairs.
near bulkhead, yep,
Right.
whatever it's gonna be. And number of detectors, I'll just put one here. Gonna save. And then we're gonna add another one, and it'll be first floor, kitchen. We'll do one there. And then we'll do another one. Let's do second floor, hallway. Let's say there's two in the hallway, it's a large hallway. And you can keep adding them in and putting in the location of where they are. I don't know if too many of them have them in specific rooms. They tend to usually be in general egress areas, but if it's a larger room, they might have it, they might put in primary bedroom or, children's room, whichever it might be. But so long as they put in some basic, some relatively close information as to where the smoke detectors are. And yet again, you can add as many as you like. Gonna do next, carbon monoxide detectors, same format, basement.
Are they both required? CO2 and smoke?
I believe so, yes.
Yes?
Rentals, yeah.
You think
Yeah.
they are?
Yep. I think they're required in all houses now,
Yeah.
so yes, it's required, period. And then I can put, one in the first floor hallway.
I know
Yeah,
there's-
a lot of the monoxide detectors and smoke detectors are in general locations anyway. I think monoxide, it's almost one per floor, but I'd have to check with the fire inspector on that.
On the one hand, this is a lot of work for the first-time applicant.
Yep.
On the other hand, it makes it harder for them to fib.
Right, I
Because
mean,
they
it's,
haven't provided,
Right.
once you tell them you want specifics, oh, do you have a smoke? Yeah, I have smoke detectors.
Yep.
Tell us where they are. Now you're holding them more accountable, I would think, on what they put on the form. So it's a good thing. And this form that you're creating has to be comprehensively filled in one time.
Yep. And then next year, the following year, if everything's the same, if they need to make changes, they can. If everything's the same, they get their renewal, they make their payment, and they're
Okay.
done.
and the digital signature every year,
Digital signature each year, yep,
Perfect.
yep, and an affidavit.
an affidavit.
We should have, for the renewals, I'll remind me of that, I'll remember to discuss that once we get to the next level here. I do next.
Going along with what you said, I mean, our feeling was that going through this extensive thing and then signing it, the vast majority of people, going through this thing and signing it, the vast majority of people will follow the rules.
Yes.
The vast majority will. And
Right.
so that's the idea.
Self-assuring in many respects.
Yep. Fire extinguishers, same thing. I'll just put one in here and,
What if they don't know how many they're supposed to have? They say, honey, how many? Oh, we have one.
They
Okay,
can
is
check
that
with
enough?
they can check with the fire inspector,
Right?
yep. He would tell them, and he may even, if, I can't say for sure, but he may offer to go out and, make recommendations, because that's what he does when a house is sold. He goes out and checks at every transfer.
Would it be useful in some way to have a link to their regulations in terms of what's required, so that our applicant, as they're going through our application, and they get to a section where they don't, what is the requirement? I mean, I know what we have, I don't know if it's adequate.
So on this field here, I can put a link in that
Mm.
will have a link to the regulations for the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide, and the fire
So
extinguishers.
if they have questions, they can go right in there at that
Yep.
time and make
Yep,
sure.
that's a good idea.
Yep.
That's a great
You
idea.
know, one of the things too is we want to also, 1,300's a lot of rentals.
Yep.
The fire inspector cannot handle 1,300 questions of people calling up and I want an inspection
So you're
and tell me
helping
how
him.
many, he's kind of tapped out right now. So as we segued in the beginning of it, this is an honesty system. This is trying to work out, what's, trying to get people to be upfront with what they have and also understanding the rules that do apply here. Now, I'm sure he's going to get a bunch of calls. And I'm sure Chief Tabano is going to call up and say, hey, we're getting calls on this stuff. So, it's going to be a work in progress. Once we get the initial 1,300 in or 1,200 or 1,600, whatever that number is, we'll have a baseline of information and then we can, decide if you need to change things, what needs to be done.
Okay.
So, it's an ever-growing process. And I think we're not the only ones that are trying to work this out.
Okay.
Everyone in the country is trying to work this out. Every town with specifically, coastal towns, resource, holiday destinations are all trying to work this process out. And then this here is the affidavit. This came directly from what you had submitted in. These are all required fields. I agree to pay the registration fee, the Commonwealth of Mass accordance. I think I can provide the link here. I'll double check, but I think I want to put the link in here for the map to these guidelines. I understand short-term rentals, reasonable inspection, etc. This one here is, I think we should put the link to the fire extinguishers and the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide here, because this is where they're taking accountability right now. Functional smoke, carbon monoxide detectors are provided in accordance with applicable state and federal regulations. So this is them saying, hey, I'm taking accountability for what's going on.
This very first one at the top of this screen, no,
This one
I
here?
understand, right, I understand. This is where the health department assures the applicant, even though they have been issued a certificate, it's still subject to adjustment or revision based up, like, for instance, the number of bedrooms.
Right. Yep.
So that gives us the opportunity to say, well, wait a minute, we didn't say, we didn't approve your application. We just processed it with the understanding that if you declared you had 6 bedrooms and you only really have 4, and we caught that, then that's going to reflect
Right.
in an adjustment to the application. Okay.
This goes back to, as we said, this is an honesty thing, and I don't, at this point in time, I don't believe that we're going out to inspect all these to make sure that they're correct, right?
No, not to start. I mean,
Not
we-
to start, so it's just
I
gonna be
think
an
we're going to
honest
have it,
system.
we're going to do our best to vet these as they come in, but, we're not going to be able to pull files on every single one, so we may
Craig.
randomly do them or start with some of the larger ones.
We may do field inspections on 5% per year.
Yep,
Just like a
Random
slow,
checks.
steady, random check
Right.
over time where what we can do,
Right.
right?
I mean, the whole concept was a registration process. Let's see what we have out there. Let's get some records for the first 3 years and then readdress it after 3 years.
yeah, and just 5% is 1,300, that's 65 properties.
Yeah, we should be able to do that.
That's
No,
an
we should-
inspect, you could do, by the time the new position comes in, it's a lot of inspecting to do. Specifically when people are gonna be last minute.
But one of, probably the biggest issue is houses that claim to have more bedrooms than their septic system will allow. And we can, without doing an on-site inspection, look at their permit and find out what kind of Title V septic system they have. And that would tell us how many bedrooms they can have. So if they say 4 bedrooms, but their Board of Health, the Health Department plans show a septic system for 2 bedrooms, they won't be allowed to write 4 on this form.
Yep, and the Title V inspections are actually in the OpenGov software. We converted them over this year, so the Board of Health, the Health Department can look on the OpenGov site and see a Title V inspection. Actually, I can,
If the property is transferred recently, we have a hard, well, actually, probably in the last 10 years, we have a hard copy online that we can look at without even looking.
Online, without digging through the file.
Yeah, I
yep,
mean,
here's one right here. This is a recent one that Diane and Judy are processing now. This is a Title V inspection for, this is,
191 Round Cove.
yep, 191 Round Cove right here.
Okay.
So, you know, this here is all,
Good.
has all the information, it's all in the,
So who put all this information online?
We have an application, they come in, the actual, right now, the hard copy comes in, and Diane scans it in and just, you do all that, right? Diane clicks the,
So you manually,
but we're gonna move towards having them do it and pay offline, like we're doing with the short-term rental, but right now, it's, yeah.
So this has the flow.
Well, that shows the.
this here, so just to step back two steps here. On the Title V inspection, we capture the property address and some basic information about it. The state doesn't offer this form. This is a whole form, which is, you know, this is a lot of information that comes from the state form.
This
So
is the
we
real
don't-
estate transfer inspection.
Yeah, we don't capture each of these line items, we just capture the whole document. We ask them for certain information. And then this is the state inspection form that they need to provide.
And they do tell us the number of bedrooms.
Yep. I
And
don't know
we-
where that is. This is 29
Keep,
page.
keep going. No, it's 16 pages, I think. Keep going. Keep going.
this is a.
Right here, right there.
For every house transfer, one of these, if the house is on septic, is completed and filed.
And we review them, mostly Lucas reviews them, he's doing a great job. And then a few years ago, we required floor plans on these, so when you see at the end, they've got floor plans attached.
Really?
And if we see anything that we question, he pulls building files, and our files, and, you know.
What does that mean, number of bedrooms for, number of bedrooms actual?
Number of bedrooms designed, so that's the number of bedrooms that the septic system was designed for.
Okay.
The number of bedrooms actual is 3. If it was opposite, I'd be concerned.
So that house we're looking at right now would have a rental of 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 would be 8.
Yep.
Not the design, the actual.
Right.
Okay.
So this has 770 gallons per day, this property?
This must be an old
Yep.
That
Title
would
V.
have to be a 2-acre lot.
No, that's an old Title V. It's probably got 2 pits.
I think it's bleach pits.
Yeah, 2 leach
Sorry,
pits.
sorry to bring this up, but.
Yeah, I mean, you
know,
opened
this
a
is-
whole can of worms here, but,
This is a
what-
great thing about what the health department's doing and what Diane and Judy and Lucas is, we're moving towards everything being in one area. So when someone calls up, and let's say Judy and Diane, when they both retire, we're gonna have somebody that's gonna come in, they're gonna go to the software and they're gonna be able to see it. They're gonna be able to pull up the address and all the information's gonna be in a one-stop shop. Now, if I was the applicant and I was doing a short-term rental and I did it online, which we will be moving forward, I'm gonna see my Title V inspection as well as my short-term rental agreement, and if I have any conservation things, I'm gonna see all of them in the one-stop shop. So this is a good thing. We're moving towards having all this information in one specific location. And the next thing too is that as we proceed forward, we want to make this mobile so that the inspectors or Judy can go out in the field and say, oh, I need to check something. You just bring it right up. Here's a property address. Here's all the information on the property. So you don't have to go back and look in filing cabinets.
Wow.
It's getting there. It's a slow process, though.
So this system is designed, was originally designed for 4 bedrooms?
Yep.
Yeah,
So it was an
So-
over-design.
So if
They
the
over-desi-
person applied for short-term rental in this property, they'd be allowed 4 bedrooms.
no, number of actual is 3.
The house only has 3.
So they would only be allowed 3 bedrooms,
Because of,
It's an over-design.
yeah.
They over-design it for the,
and could they add a bedroom?
No, well, I don't know what the size lot is, I'd have to look. If it's a 40,000 square foot lot, they possibly could. Or if
They
it's a
would have to
30,000
follow
square
those.
foot lot, they could with IA.
But this was over-designed because back in 95, they changed the regulation, right, Judy? That
You can't
add-
over-design.
You can't add and you can't over-design.
We don't
Right.
allow over-design, and the Board of Health used to require an over-design. It was 1.75 times.
Yep.
They stopped doing that, and I don't know when. Yeah,
my property where I live, we have, it's sort of an over-design, but we have a 3-bedroom house, but we're allowed, the septic was built as a 5-bedroom house, but we had to have the plans for the expansion, which we didn't do, but it's ready to go, so that if we decided to put the addition on, we'd be able, it was part of the initial design plans of the house, but they had to apply for the maximum amount of bedrooms so that the septic system would accommodate it, and not have to
Right.
do a rebuild.
But if the house is in Chatham, you couldn't do that today, despite what,
No.
what plans you
Nope.
have.
Yep.
Right.
Ronnie?
Judy, this will all show you if the sewerage is tied in? In other words, when the sewer goes by? Do we have any way of doing that, knowing they've been tied in?
Well, we wouldn't have a real estate inspection report if it was on sewer. I can look, we have
Wondered if, you
we have
know,
another
somebody-
program that shows all the sewer connections, and so, yeah, I mean, we have
So
access
this
to that.
29-page form is not completed for a home that's changing hands where that home is on town sewer.
Right, because it's a septic inspection report,
Okay.
so.
Judy, you said this would be reviewed in 3 years. My understanding is we have to review it in 3 years.
Right.
But
Obligated.
we could, at any time, if we feel something needs to be changed, we could change.
Tweaked, yep.
Tweak it, tweak the regulation.
Judy, I know I've asked you this before, but I keep forgetting. In the whole universe in Chatham of
Not the whole universe.
single-family homes
Yep.
on septic systems, what would an estimate be? How many,
Percentage.
no, is it like 5,000, 4,000?
100.
Is that houses that are converted over?
No.
Houses that are on septic systems,
If you, do-
probably 2/3 of them anyways.
Yeah, because
So-
what are we at? I think we're at about 1,400 conversions over to town septic?
To the sewer?
Yeah, to sewer, sorry.
so if we had
Probably.
4,000 residences,
6,000.
or 6,000, whatever, then I'm just curious what the universe of homes would be that are on private
Septic.
septic.
I mean, well, yeah, I would say it's probably 75% at this point.
And what's, I know our town population
I'd have to
is
double-check that.
6,000, I hear,
Yep,
It's year-round population.
year-round. Oh,
Well, there's 6,000 properties.
Voters.
Properties.
6,600 properties, and then
4,500
you roughly
septic
guesstimate that to be about, I think the general number is 2.5, so that, I think the population of Chatham is higher than
Than 6,000.
6,000, yeah, you're assuming, 2-point-something per house. So,
no, you're
right.
right. Just number of
without knowing
homes.
the exact population, but the problem that you run into, and this is why, this short-term rental thing is really important, is if 75% of the properties in town are on septic, and our population goes from, let's say, 12,000 to 30,000, and 75% of those properties are on septic, that's a big burden on the septic levels
Right.
in the town.
Right.
That's,
why we're
that's
Well, that's
almost
the-
doubling it.
Right,
Some say we get to 30,000 in the summertime. That's a
Yeah.
big number.
Nobody knows
Nobody
that,
knows.
right? Nobody knows that for sure?
I don't know what that number, where that number comes from. It may
Yeah.
be just, how many people are in town on the 4th of July. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
that's an estimate from years ago. I mean, I don't think they update that every year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably quite a bit more.
It's a number that's thrown around.
But those 1,400 rental properties have an occupancy during the rental season far greater than the average occupancy of the year-round homes.
Correct.
Yep.
On my street, for example, the house next door to me, one or two people lived in that house for 20 years.
Yep.
It's now a rental property, and it has 8 people every day
10
from
weeks.
Memorial Day until Columbus Day.
Yep.
And that's a big change in the amount of nitrogen dumped into the soil.
Right.
Yep.
In that half-acre lot.
Well, with your calculation, 2 bedrooms allows 6 occupancies. You got 1,000 rental properties with an occupancy of 6. That's 6,000 people just in 1,000 properties that could come into town. If they have a 3-bedroom, the occupancy goes up yet again. So, it's a lot of numbers coming in, and there's
And
a
then
lot
there-
of people coming into the rental properties.
And then their friends come in for the holiday weekend.
Yep, yep.
So
So,
it's-
each bedroom is, if you got an occupancy of 6 for a 2-bedroom, that's 6,000 people just
Greg-
in the rentals.
I'm sorry, can you show us what the permit will look like? Have you got that built out?
Yeah, let me just finish this.
Yeah,
So
let's finish
we're
this.
going through this process, and then we're gonna hit next. And if there's any additional attachments that I wanna add, I can add an attachment. If Judy says, I would like to see whatever she wants, we can require them to add an attachment. We can add the attachment in. We're gonna hit next,
We
and
we could ask for a floor plan, or
Yep,
we could
we
ask
could
for
ask for
pictures
whatever you
of
like.
the windows in the basement, or something like that.
yep. This is just an overview of everything, and then they submit it. Now, once it is submitted, because this is my personal account, so I'll go to my account here. This is moved on to the health agent, so Judy will make the approval.
Or the housing inspector will.
Whoever's gonna do it. It's pretty much straightforward in approval. I haven't set up the payment on this, so the next step before I submit it, it would be make a payment. I pay the $50, and then it moves on to Judy. The payment's already made, and then the health agent or whoever's going to do the inspection, the overview of the paperwork, not inspection, will then determine that it's okay to go. And then on the online system, I will get here's all my applications. So I'm an applicant here. I got a bunch. Can't find that one. Where is it? Short-term rental. These are all drafts. I think just got to find the one. I got so many of them right here. So this will give me a status. It's already sent me an email saying that my application has been submitted, payment's been made once I do the payment, and then once Judy or whoever approves it, I'll get another email saying that it's been approved and I'm ready to go.
So it's set up to take credit cards for payment?
It'll be set up to take credit cards for payment, and that's, I don't think that I think we just do everything online with credit card. They just pay it online with credit card. Some towns do check and cash and mail in and stuff like that, but the problem is it puts a burden on the staff. If you get 1,300 applicants and 1,000 of them decide to send in a check, well, that means Diane has to go in, input a check, do a turn-in. With a credit card system, it goes automatically in there. At the end of the period, Diane will have to do her reconciliation. She doesn't have to count up checks. She doesn't have to grab cash. She runs a report, submits it to the treasurer's office, hands-off operation.
Do you want to have an incentive built into the pricing?
No, I just leave it credit cards. I think people kind of expect it.
Yep.
Okay.
And how do they sign? Electronically? There's a,
Yeah, on that affidavit, there was an electronic signature.
Okay.
Yep.
Now,
So
are we
they'll
going
put
to
in
charge
their
them a
first and last
convenience
name.
fee?
Well, that's a
The town
question.
charges a convenience fee if you pay your taxes by credit card. If you pay it by debit from your checking account, there's no convenience
Yeah,
fee.
so when it comes to taxes, when you're convenience fees, there's two different vehicles here. Flat rate things, like transfer station, for example, $5 a bag. No cash, no checks at the transfer station. You pay by credit card, $5. We absorb the transaction fee because it's a flat rate purchase. When you're paying property taxes, if it fluctuates, you know, the payment on that could be anywhere, if you pay a $10,000
Yep.
real estate bill, it's 3% on average. That's a big chunk of change. And as a town, we can't build in the transaction fees on that. If you
Okay.
choose to do it, you do it. But flat rate processes like this, right now, you're at $50. I guess it'd be a discussion with the treasurer collector and the finance director as to whether you want to just absorb the fees. But there's probably going to be about
$1.50.
about $3 by the time the processing fee, there's another processing fee with everything. There's fees on everything.
Is the convenience fee pretty standard for other towns and?
Yeah, convenience fees are pretty standard. A lot of town, you know, my personal opinion is the town should just increase the fee a little bit and just absorb the cost of it,
And-
just because
Down the
it's a
road,
lot
yeah.
easier.
If you want people to pay with a credit card, which we do, the convenience fee is an obstacle. It's a barrier.
Yeah, right.
So don't charge them
Start off
extra to pay
The fee
with a
will-
credit card.
Yeah, it can be adjusted later as we go along.
Yep. But that'll be a discussion we'll have to talk with Alex, because I don't think that was a discussion that initially came. Yeah, or the new finance director. So, yeah, you know, as I say, it costs, you know, there's processing fees. I usually charge $1 plus another 3% on all of these things because they're dealing with it. You know, it is what it is. You know, when you go to Stop and Shop and you pay with your credit card, you don't see a 3% transaction fee built in.
I agree, trying to keep it simple, sounds good.
Yeah, keep it simple. So that's kind of going through the process. I
Could you
just
just
want
do-
to show you one thing here on the back end, and this is the nice thing about this software that we're using, is Judy and her staff will be able to go in here and click a button, and it's going to show you all the short-term rental applications around town, overlaid onto a map. Now,
to see that.
you can see that I've used 549 Main Street for everything,
We saw
but
that. We saw.
I'll give you a, let me see here, maybe this is, no, there's no more. I'll do this here for, we'll just do it for demo, that's not a big one, gas permits. So this here, so as we build it out, this is what Judy and her staff are gonna be able to see in the background of these here are all the, this would be, let's say they're all short-term rental properties. You'll be able to see them all here. You'll be able to click on each one. At some point, I think it was Richard, did you bring up the sewer, or did you bring that up, John, about the sewer tie-ins?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, you'll be able to actually see, and eventually, as part of our GIS system, you'll be able to see where all the main sewer lines are and if people are near them, et cetera. You know, there's a ton of information we can put onto this map.
So can you just go back, so if somebody starts out to register and they go on the town website, can you go over again how easy it is for them to get to where they're doing all this? What do you click on? Departments, online services?
So what we'll do is, currently, and I'm going to go by, we can put it in health, we could put it in online services right here. So we could put a link in here. This here is for apply for building permits. We can put a link in here. We can put it on the health department.
Can you put multiple links?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because
That's what
to
I would
me,
do.
I mean, the hardest thing sometimes is to find where
the
I'm
starting
going to
point is.
from
Yep.
from the main site, clicking on the different things. So I think the more it jumps out at people and the more direct and the more multiple accesses you have, the far better it'll be.
The nice thing about this too is that we're collecting their email addresses and their phone numbers, and in the event that there's a change or a modification or we need to do anything different, we already have the information. Judy can go in there and send out information relating to whatever they want to, whatever we need to do in the future.
When do they get their registration number?
From the state?
From us,
well-
from us.
Are we going to mail them a certificate, or are we
Yeah,
going to do
so-
it, or are we going to do it
So
online?
here's a question that we have, is it's beginning March 1st for the beginning, right? Is it March
Yes.
1st?
First rental period.
Yeah, first rental period through to the 28th, 29th, depending
28th
on
of
leap year of
February, yep.
February, the following year.
Yep.
Is that, yeah. So we can have them start to put in input now, but they won't get a certificate yet because it's not effective until March 1st, right? Or do we want to
That's the
issue
question,
them
is
now?
when
I
is-
mean, I think that once it's approved, they should get the certificate, and then it's good until February
Yep.
28th of 2025.
Yep.
So,
There is one concern on the treasurer's side is taking payments now. If people decide not to proceed forward, they register now and they pay the $50 fee and then they decide, I'm not going to do the rental.
so can't we just say there's no refunds?
Non-refundable.
Yeah, non-refundable.
We'd have to state that it's non-refundable because the
Non-transferable,
treasurer's office
non-refundable.
doesn't want to deal with having to give
Money back.
refunds.
It should
Yeah.
be non-transferable as well. So that-
Non-transferable, non-refundable, and then once you make your payment, that moves forward to, the last day of that will be whatever it is, if it's a leap year. March 1st is kind of a weird one, because the day before could be the 27th, or
Oh
could
my
be whatever it's gonna be.
28th or 29th.
28th or 29th, yeah,
Right.
so,
Well, we'll just say February 28th and,
yeah, or.
They can get a free day.
We
on
could do
every
it
4
March,
years.
March 1st to March 1st.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest, because there's always a March 1st, there's not always a
And there's
28th.
always a February 28th, too.
Then if a house
Yes,
transfers,
but no 29th.
Right.
if a house transfers, the new owner has to go through this whole process again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then here's the other question that you're probably going to get to it, but, so when do you envision this thing being on the town website where people can start registering it? Because people are already renting for next summer, so,
I can put it up, probably, I just need to get the payment process taken care of and work out where the payments are going.
You may have to look
On the treasurer's side, not on this side, because we need to, I just need to set up, make sure that the treasurer collector is aware of where we need to set up a separate account for the health department for online payments, so that when they come in, we know where they go. They all go to the general fund, but we need to set that up, and then I need to set up the processing. But realistically, we're starting to get into budget, a few things. I could probably have it up for November 1st.
for November what?
1st.
First, okay.
Does that
Couple of
work
weeks.
with you, Judy? And
Great, I mean,
Your
I
stuff?
think people, the sooner the better.
Yep.
People are
January,
calling
February,
daily and
March.
asking
Yep.
us,
It gives them
let's-
5 months,
yep.
and then we have to market the heck out of the
We'll talk
fact.
about that,
Right.
but that'll be,
Yeah.
that's a,
So after the first 5 months, their permit will become effective. I think what we'll do is we'll probably put, from application to whatever the date's going to be in 25, March 1st, 2025. About 60 days, they'll get a notification saying, hey, you need to renew. 30 days, they'll get a renew. And then on March 1st, if they haven't renewed, then they're not going to be able to, they're not part of the program. Now, are we accepting applications after March 1st? Are we gonna accept
we
them
have
no
to.
matter what?
I
We have to,
think so.
yeah,
Yep,
We'd have to, right?
yeah, we have to.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first, yeah.
Yeah,
And the first
we'll,
year
we'll
is-
accept them on a rolling
But
basis.
they're all gonna expire at a certain time.
But
So
they-
it doesn't matter. If
I
I
can-
decide I'm gonna do a rental, I'm not gonna do it, but, you know what, I'm gonna do it in
Yes.
September. I can apply in July. I'm still paying the $50. That'll end on the 1st of March, 2025, no matter
So
what.
Craig, is the actual permit itself, will that be, when we approve it, will that be automatically emailed to them
It'll send them an email.
with a
Yep,
copy of it?
with a copy of it, yep. You don't have to mail it out.
So I'd like to see that before we start doing that.
We'll start to assign them. Right now, there's no real assignment on it. I'm just kind of randomly,
Is the
it's just
first-
randomly taking a number now. What we'll probably do, see this REI, this is 23118. We'll probably do the same thing.
A
We'll
code.
probably set it up for next year. We'll call it STR 24.
Dash
And all
one,
the
dash
applicants
two,
for,
dash three.
for what we would call the 24th year, 2024, which is a summer rental. Yep. And then we'll keep the applications.
You want to hit those?
So Judy, what do we do with, people are already renting now for the next summer, or they, somebody who registers and says, oh, well, I've already rented it for the summer and I have this kind of occupancy.
No.
We just,
That's their problem.
yeah, so
They've
it's
gotta
firm, it's
adjust.
firm, there's no,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are pretty familiar, especially the realtors,
rental agencies
and
are.
rental agencies with what's going on, so I don't presume that's gonna be a big problem. It is what it is,
And
so,
there's going to be no grandfathering in to rentals next summer.
no,
Right.
so, but that is why we wanna get this going quickly.
Right, that's great, November
And I
1st.
think November 1st is a good date. Hopefully the housing coordinator will be in time for, is that the title, housing?
Housing inspector,
Housing
and that position
inspector.
was posted today,
Yep.
so
So
that's
that'll
good.
that'll come in at around the same time. We'll have March to kind of review things, make sure things are going okay and the process. I do want to put up, when they go to do the payment, I do want to put up I got to talk with the developers to make sure that they understand this is non-refundable.
Right.
Because I don't want them to say, well, I didn't see anything that said non-refundable. Hopefully they can check a box to say it's non-refundable.
Right.
Can't you put that right on the application?
We can,
Fill it
but
out?
people don't read applications. You know how
As
it
they're
goes.
going
Yeah,
through.
as they go through, I think we should add it maybe in the,
Where it says they've paid the $50.
yeah, where I pay the $50, I understand this is non-refundable.
Yes,
I think we should add that into the
Yep.
affidavit thing. And then I would also like a pop-up thing, because I barely ever read those affidavits personally. I just click through them just to get done, so, and I think a lot of people I've timed it with my information, knowing it takes less than 5 minutes to do an application.
Really?
Yep.
Even the,
Set up the account, you get the email right away. The account just looks for your name, email,
right.
phone number, mailing address. You start the application, you fill in the information. If you know your house pretty well, you get all the information. The longest time it takes is to gather property manager or
Yep.
property rental, whatever. 5 minutes. If it takes 10, that's great. It saves Diane putting in every single application if they come in by paper.
yeah.
So people should be able to do it in 5
Simpler.
minutes, pretty quick and easy. The only other question that I have is what if Joe Smith, real estate agent, they handle 10, 20 rentals, which I think is pretty common, correct? Whatever, a realtor. Are they the applicants or is the owner the applicant?
The owner.
I-
It should be the owner.
I think it depends on how they
their-
decide to do
Their
it.
contract
It's their,
says.
yeah.
Yep.
Like
Because
I
if
know.
I was Joe Smith Realtor and I manage 20 properties, do I do these applications and then charge the owner the $50?
I think that's often the way it is. I
That
know.
would be up to them.
On the state's list, one of our big companies is listed 25 or 30 times as the,
But the affidavit is
Property
signed by
applicant.
the owner.
Yes,
Or
so,
the
I guess-
owner's agent. I mean, we better make sure this
We
is
wouldn't know who
clear.
fills it out necessarily, but we would know that it's signed by the owner who would
yep.
attest
We
to
just
the
need
whole
to
thing.
clarify that, because if I own a real estate agency and I rent 25 properties, am I doing the application, or are you doing the is the owner required to do the
Right.
application? Do I do it, then do I charge them $60 as opposed to $50, a $10 convenience? Like, it's all kind of a little bit of a gray area specifically for the bigger rental companies.
Maybe we need to talk with somebody like, what's her name, Robbins?
Kim Robbins?
Yeah,
Judy, what do you
Kim.
think about that? But-
I can ask.
But that would be internal to the rental agency and their client, any
You could
fees
just-
between them and all.
You could ask Kimberly, how does it work? What would be better? How do you think, I mean, if
It
you.
does say on the application, it says signature of owner, and then it says title underneath, manager or,
Well, there are plenty of companies that try and do all the work for the applicant, I mean, for the property.
Turnkey
You sign
operation.
with us, and we will handle it all
Yep.
for you.
But I think we want the owner to be responsible for this, and we want the owner to be going through this affidavit and then signing it. so
but
they
you
take
could have
responsibility.
somebody signing for
Well,
the
that's the
owner.
question. Can you do
Right.
that? Is that-
That's a fundamental question, though. I don't know what's best.
Maybe
How do they
Kim
work
Robbins
it?
would know. She's pretty.
Yeah, we
she's on the working group.
we can talk, we can look into that, ask the real estate agents how they do it.
What's that big outfit up in Orleans that does all the,
They're listed,
Elmar?
they're
Elmar.
listed
That's an
under,
Orleans company. I'd go with Kim Robbins, who's a local.
but they are listed on the state as the property people.
representative?
There's they have 25 or 30, maybe more in Chatham, so.
So they have signed agreements with the property owners.
They've
Through which they
They've
represent
registered
them.
with the state,
Yeah,
yes.
they take on that burden.
Yeah, so I don't know, somebody like Pine Acres or Chatham Rentals,
Okay, so that's
how
something-
they do it, so.
Something to find out about.
Worth a couple of calls to kind
Yeah,
of scope
we
it.
can work
Yeah,
on that.
we
Craig.
need to work that out, because if I'm not the applicant, if I'm the real estate agent and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna fill in 30 applications for the 30 properties that I rent,
Pretty Picky is a big Chatham one.
Yep.
it's
Pine Acres.
different. The real estate agent will have to create the login, et cetera. So that's something that they're gonna have to talk about with their real estate agent, whether they're a turnkey operation or whether they're I want to be involved. I'm assuming that a large number of them are just turnkey operations. They don't want to deal with it. They just get sent a check at the end of the season to say, this is how much we've made in rentals. These are all the fees. So,
But,
Some of them are sending the check before the season.
but this is
Yes.
this is a regulatory document. This is a regulation.
Right.
If somebody misstates something on this, there could be ramifications. If we tell an applicant in July that they've rented this house to 14 people and they can only have 6, and they have to return all that money, that could turn into a legal problem.
Yes.
So I think the owner needs to attest that this thing is valid, is truthful.
But it could be the owner or the owner's agent, so.
Well, as long as the owner's agent is willing to take legal responsibility for it and pay any fines or
Is
fees
that a question for the,
that accrue.
That could be
Maybe.
an attorney question.
Yep, we'll look into that.
I don't want to throw hand grenades, but
But you will.
that is one thing that we're going to have to look at, because we see it with the plumbing inspectors and the gas. One electrician might have, he'll apply for all the permits through the town, and he'll have 100 properties that he's worked on and done inspections and done the electrical work. And this could be similar with the larger companies that do rentals. Now, I don't know how many there are, if there's You know, if there's 1,000 rentals in those type of turnkey operations, then it definitely changes the process from an owner to an owner's agent that needs to attest to make sure.
Well, Del Mar advertises, I think they have 35 properties in Chatham
Yep.
They do everything.
that they rent. Well, they clean, they provide the cleaning service, they take the trash away, they mow the
They
lawn.
pay the money before the season
Right,
to the renter, to the owner.
right. Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
So we need to work out what the process would be for that. Is
Yeah,
it
legally,
there?
yeah, it seems that we want to tie the owner to this affidavit. I mean, so there isn't any, like Dick said, so there
Right.
isn't any mistake, but. how you
Question is, how do you do that?
Might be a question for the attorney, just so we have it done.
And that,
on the form.
and if we decide what we want to do, that may have to be clarified at the very beginning of this application. Right? That pins down right then and there.
Yeah.
Who is doing this?
I think we can put it right here.
I imagine it's a common.
Right before the dwelling, we could maybe put a question that says, are you the owner, are you the owner of the property, or are you the owner's agent, applicant? And then maybe we need to have them provide, information to say that, a copy of that contract.
Yeah, because you
know?
say I'm your agent, well,
Because you're right, if they put in that there's, 10 smoke detectors and your inspector goes out and sees that there's, 20 smoke or whatever or there's no smoke detectors, who bears the burden of responsibility?
this is a lawyer's
Is it
delight.
the owner or is it the owner agent? So I think if we put in, are you the owner? Are you an owner applicant or are you an owner agent? Are you the agent for the owner?
If they say they're the agent, then you could use that field we have, additional documents. Remember, it was something about towards
Yep.
the end? If an agent, please attach copy of agreement.
See, we kind of have it here already, but we're not delineating between a property manager and a rental agency.
Right.
So, a property manager is very different. I might hire a property manager, but as an agency, I provide a turnkey operation as opposed to, if I know my property manager, so I think we need to look
This
at.
is a legal question.
Yeah, we don't want an owner to say, oh, I didn't agree to that, that was, the agent filled that form.
The agent
for me,
filled
and
that
I
out.
didn't-
Yep.
I don't know what he did.
Right.
Yeah, we don't want that situation.
Yep. And also in the event that there's a problem in the property. The town is, if there's an issue and they say, well, the town's, the property has 3 fire extinguishers and 10 smoke detectors and the place burns down and they come to find out that there's none of that and somebody gets hurt in a rental agreement, that's a problem.
Yep.
So, we need to, we're pushing the emphasis over to the owner of the property. So, or an owner's agent. And if they do an owner's agent, I think we need to have some type of documentation confirming that they're the owner's agent and that they agree that anything that happens is the owner agent's responsibility.
The owner's responsibility.
Would be the owner agent responsibility because they have a contract. But if they're the owner, they're taking their own responsibility. So, yeah, it's convoluted, but we may need to also change, add in a couple of fields in here on the affidavit. When we do the affidavit here, we may need to add a field here relating to owner agent, to agents of the owner or whatever it
We
might
could
be.
maybe even add a statement that says, I am the owner or the owner's representative, and I attest that the owner is aware of all the requirements of this regulation, or something like that.
Something like that's
Yeah.
legal. Well, Pat, would-
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, because I know that Delmar, they're probably not gonna call up every owner and say, hey, you
No,
have to
they
go
won't.
online here.
so if whoever's the applicant attests to it, then I think we'd probably be covered,
Yep,
that they have contacted the owner and the owner is aware.
yep.
I thought we had
And
some-
like, this is all part of the
But
process.
that-
It's all
that may
part
be
of the
important,
learning
because
process.
I think, I don't know for sure, I'm
Well, it
just,
says, that's one of the actual affidavit, all persons and entities with an ownership interest in this unit have been notified that a certificate of registration has been applied for. So, I mean, we could expand that. That just basically states that,
Yeah.
that the owner has been notified.
Can we send this form, or,
I think this has already been reviewed by town council.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was.
But we can ask more specific questions to this point, for sure.
right, and create the scenario, what if? What if there was an accident or, something bad that happens and then,
Or if we find something that's, that is misrepresented on this form in an inspection or in a review of documents, who is responsible?
But it should go back to the owner.
Ultimately, I would think.
Well, somebody, if the agent assumed full responsibility, then if there's a fine or whatever, the agent has to pay it.
Yeah. Well, we can delve into that a
Okay,
little more.
so here's a question. You have a date of November 1st.
Correct.
So with what you have here, can you make the changes and you and Judy work things out so
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
can go
Judy and I
ahead
can
without
talk
another
on it,
meeting of
yep.
us and get this online November 1st? Because I think that's important to get it going.
Yep, as long as we, you guys, whatever you're comfortable with, wording, et cetera. I was just throwing out some thoughts and ideas
Oh, that's
there.
good.
Just for what
Judy,
things
you
that are
think
gonna come up.
Think this will have to come back before the committee, or you can work it
No, I
out?
don't think so. I mean, we basically just wanted you to see,
That'll
what it looked
expedite
like
things.
and how it was gonna
There'll be
work.
some
And
changes, I'm sure it's not,
Yeah.
planned, if it's
I
planned.
think that we asked for if they are an agent, I think we asked for their agency agreement. A copy of the agency agreement, so then everything's
I mean, I don't
documented.
want, I guess,
But
I guess we can,
we
but
don't want to be in a position of
reviewing,
reviewing and certifying that
yeah, I don't want to do that, really. I'd rather have them have to sign something that says that they agree that,
Okay,
the owner has been notified and that they're signing on behalf of the owner of the legal entity or owner of the property,
right?
so.
Yeah, and, as I say, and then, the violation here is probably just people calling up and saying there's too many people in the house and,
Right.
so
Well, but-
then that goes to the agency, then we can look at it and, do we need to build a complaint form online for
We
this?
may. Right now, we're just keeping a spreadsheet, but there is a complaint form in the building department.
Yep, we
I
can
think we
build
do
one for
want-
this too.
We would like to build up a database of complaints out in the neighborhood and things, because we may
Right.
need to adjust the regulation down the road, and it's nice to have some
Right.
information about what the problems are.
Yeah.
If you want to have a gathering point for any and all complaints, create a place where that can happen.
Right, which we would use this.
I think what we need to do, Judy, is on the town webpage, I'll have Ryan do it. As a subset of the health department, I think we should do a short-term rental page with information.
Yes.
Put the complaint form there, put the application there. So when you go into the health department here, because this is a big chunk of, always natural resources, right?
Well, the health division has a separate,
Oh, it has a separate one?
yep.
Nope, I didn't see it, sorry.
Health division. Everybody.
This is how often I,
There it is, right
I
there.
get onto the webpage. This is
But to me,
Ryan's
that
department, but I think
initial-
we build a health,
A separate page.
separate
I think we
page.
talked about that. I
Yeah,
think that would
with some
be,
regulatory information, with some general information about the process, and a complaint form, which I think we should have a complaint form up by March 1st.
yep.
Because that's when the complaints will start to come in, specifically short-term rental complaints.
Is it gonna be, do you have a mechanism right now where the public can file any kind of health department complaint online?
Nothing online, no.
Do you
They
want
usually
this to
give us a-
be?
They usually
to be
call.
a short-term rental complaint hotline? Or do you want it to be, here's a chance to create a central gathering spot for any health division
Yeah.
complaint, and then once it comes in, you can then categorize it by
Yeah,
what is
that's
it?
not a bad idea. I'd like to think about that, yep.
Yeah,
But is it, you don't want, you'd prefer not to have phone call, but if they could put it directly on the website and it gets collected somewhere, that's a lot better
Yeah,
administratively.
yep, that would be great.
but you gotta check it.
Yeah, well, if it was on like a form, like OpenGov, if it linked to a form, then it would notify me that I
It
had
would, okay.
a complaint.
But Craig, I think for me, the hardest thing is to, when you get to the town website, is then getting to the spot where
Yeah.
you're, the form that you're trying to go after, and sometimes it's not clear to me, that doesn't maybe mean a whole lot, but the clearer you make it, the better it's gonna work, I think.
They're not gonna have to go through the building department.
No, no,
into it.
no.
No, I just posted it here because I don't want it to be up on the health page, because then people start putting applications in, so it's kind of hidden. It's hidden, but it's not. I'm just going through the complaint form here for the building, just real quickly here. The rowdy people at 549 Main Street. Okay, yeah, street address of complaint, detailed description of complaint and zoning district. Let me just do this real quick. And then attachments, okay, pictures other. So we could do the same thing here. We could also do categories if you wanted to, health, establishment, complaint form. They could pick from a drop down as to what it is, whether it's, a food establishment or a beach issue or a hotel issue or a short-term rental issue.
Yeah,
Yep, we can do a one-stop shop, drop-down list, fill out the application. And I like the fact that you have to go through the MyTown OpenGov to do it, because then it's valid. If you're creating anonymous complaints, everyone can complain anonymously. But when you have to verify with an email address and a phone number to get in to file a complaint, I think that's a good process.
Right, and you could justify it because there could be follow-up then with a
And
question.
it's all, the only people that'll know where the complaint is Judy and her staff. It's not gonna be public, but it's hidden in the back there so that, we don't get, oh, well, it was noisy, I'm just gonna complain.
Would it be possible to, when this date comes, November 1st, on the main Chatham website, to put some kind of special announcement, maybe in a box with the red saying, brand new short-term rental applications website now
Yep. Town
open,
notification.
showcase it,
You go
highlight,
right here,
and
town
keep,
notification right up here, we can do banners, we can do, as the process begins, as it goes online, we can.
leave
we
it
can
for the
post
first 3
information.
months, just have it be highlighted when anybody wanders into this thing, because it educates too.
Yep.
I mean, people may come here for something else and they happen to own a rental property. If they see a special highlighted caption, you could capture people right there too.
Yep, we can pop it right on the main page.
But, John, that gets into the whole public relations campaign
Yes.
for this November 1st
Right.
date and the things online.
Yes.
You begin registering, and we had talked about that.
Yep.
That'll probably be a number of things.
But what-
Maybe another article in the Chronicle that updates this.
Yes.
They've been very good with it. And what
Shauna
what
will get it
what are other
onto
things we
social
can-
media.
Yep.
She'll get it on social media, Facebook, all
yep, the main sheet.
all the
what-
main
what-
sheet.
What other
Yep.
ways can we do it, Judy?
Well, as Craig said, social media, the weekly main sheet that goes out, quite a few people get that.
There's an announcement, isn't there a town announcement thing in the Chronicle?
Yeah, I mean,
Yep, we can push it out through the town website as well.
yeah, and
just,
I also have the state's DOR list, so I was thinking that if I can get some clerical staff volunteer to come in, we could send out a mailing, actually, to everybody on that list.
This is the state registered list that
Right.
you have access to.
Right.
That,
Can we Can we put on an upcoming Board of Health agenda an issue to consider and review the short-term rental marketing plan?
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of what we're talking about now.
Kind of what we're talking right now, but create a way for us to kind of focus on. Judy could bring forward what she has identified. You could, say, here's 4 things.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we're going to get it done by November 1st. I think we're going to have
soon
kind
as
of like a
possible.
soft rollout, but yeah, and then
Yeah.
we'll start pushing through December and January, the marketing of it.
Yeah.
John,
But yeah, as soon as possible.
I envision having an agenda item every meeting for short-term registration.
Just
up to date.
updates, perfect.
And then.
Okay.
And just keep right
And we
on it.
build on it, and
Yeah.
we build on it, we build on it.
Yep.
And then, but Judy mentioned the 1,300 addresses that she has from the state getting volunteers, did you say?
Well, we do have a senior work person who could come in and help us stuff
Well,
on.
I'm senior, I mean, I could come in and help you?
Well, this isn't official where you get a tax write-off.
Oh, God. No, I'm just saying.
You get a
board members
discount
could
on.
volunteer, John.
Sure, if you want to come in and
Come
stuff.
in and help go through this list and sort of expedite this thing.
It's something that once I do the,
It might be
yeah,
a possibility.
yeah.
So what
Let you know.
exactly would the work consist of?
Well, first I would have to do a mail merge. I would have to take the list, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and develop mailing labels, and then a letter, and just basically,
Okay, so your goal is to take from the state website the names and the mail-in addresses of all the people who have declared to them that they are short-term rental, and then us sending each of them
send them a letter.
postcard or a letter or something.
Yeah, postcard might not be a bad idea. Yep,
That's a great idea, if we could do that.
yep.
So are you having?
And then the social media side of it, Shauna
Reprinted addresses,
and
or
Channel
someone has
8
to come in and
and
hand
Ryan will
Yeah.
take care of that. Channel 8 will put
I'll have a mail merge.
banners up.
yeah.
They'll
Shauna
print
will
'em
take
out.
care of the social media side. Ryan will take care of the website side. One of the bigger issues with that is that there's the rental pool is, not a lot of town residents or
Well, there's
are
plenty.
renters. There's a good number, but I think a lot of the big renters are non-residents.
Yeah.
So we just need to reach out to them via social media and hopefully by Judy's, that state list. That'd be a good way to do it as well.
Very good.
So the state list is 1,300, that's what we know about, so there's, people speculate, or 14.
1450.
How many people rent and don't register, which we hope to capture with this whole thing as well, so that'll be interesting to see.
Well, I've only got 6,600 properties, so
6,600?
ish, ballpark-ish.
The other news with this is that, as I understand it from Judy, the new job in the health department for an inspector and a short-term regulation administrator has been posted now. So that's posted officially, so now hopefully Judy will get somebody relatively quickly.
Yep, we're gonna start as soon as we get some applicants and we weed through them, we'll start interviewing.
How are you advertising it? Indeed?
How are we advertising it?
Yeah.
It'll be out, I think they do put it on Indeed, the town. I have to check with
I mean, in the newspapers?
the
the standard
newspapers, the
way?
town. I'm gonna post it on the Mass Health Officers Association.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and put it out to the other towns on the Cape. I mean, I'm not trying to steal anybody, but,
The goal is to find somebody that already lives in the area.
yeah, right.
Right.
So that's helpful.
Awesome.
Greg?
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll touch base with Judy.
And it's good news, November 1st.
We'll get these things going. We'll get it up for November 1st. And then, we'll make the changes.
We'll see you
Awesome.
again in 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, other so that's, anything else on the short-term rental, any comments or? Okay, but I'll try and make an agenda item every meeting, just so we can keep pushing along, because we
Good.
have a deadline. And then I had talked about having a seminar on Title V, IA, technology, construction, the science and the bacteriology and all that. And Judy has arranged for this
Emily Michelle.
Olmsted, who works for the county, to come and talk to us, and I think there's a date of February 5th at our meeting,
Yes.
Be a guest speaker?
and she'll come and speak.
It'll
for-
either be Emily or something, she works for the training, the State Research Institute, where they do the test it's the test center for,
Where they're experimenting with different systems?
they are, and they're the experts in septics on the Cape and pretty much in New England. So someone from there, Emily and I discussed it, I don't know whether she's coming, it might be George Hoyfeld, or it might be Brian Baumgartel, but maybe more than one of them will come.
Her reply says, on my joining remotely." So it sounds like she's planning to come, and she
Okay, yeah.
says she's going to talk about the basics of septic systems, how they work, the biological and chemical processes that occur, especially related to virus and bacteria removal, basics of nitrogen removal and nitrogen technology. So she'll kind of give us an overview lecture.
The whole
and-
chemistry
And
piece?
then there'll be a question and answer, and we'll have the whole meeting will be devoted to that, that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to invite the Conservation Commission, because they have indicated some interest in that
Right,
from
Okay.
us, so,
and the Water and Sewer Advisory, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it'll be a public meeting, and we're going to do it remotely. She's going to be doing it remotely, so anybody who's interested can watch. So that'll be good.
Okay.
Okay, so that's, and then the other, okay, any other things there? Okay, the Select Board has recommended a combined meeting with us on the extra
Requested, yeah.
bedroom issue, and Judy, do you have an update on that, or? it's
Just that they're requesting that the Board of Health and the Select Board meet in a combined meeting to discuss our new policy of not allowing the extra bedroom if it doesn't meet the nitrogen loading regulations. I think in relation to the sewer, water and,
Extra bedroom.
as water and sewer commissioners. So I think they want to discuss our policy and then discuss how it relates to sewer. That's my understanding.
Do you have a date on that?
So there's some dates that they've asked us in November. Diane, do you have those dates?
November 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th.
And Dick, you can't do,
So I'd say anybody that can't attend in November, let Judy know.
I cannot do the 28th, right.
Okay, and, yeah, I think the sewer regulations, if you hook up to the sewer, you get one extra bedroom, and I think the regulations sort of implied that one extra bedroom sort of came from the health department's Title V to IA technology, one extra bedroom, that it was sort of parallel to it. So if we changed ours, there's kind of a rationale for why they might not change theirs. And it's a little different now than in 2005 or so, when this thing came in place in terms of overbuilding and all that, so.
So-
We'll set that up.
do you want to pick a date and say you could, the 21st or the 14th?
Wednesday, so 21st is right before Thanksgiving?
Yep. We could do the 14th, which is the week before.
This would be a Tuesday.
Yep, it's a Tuesday, so it'll be,
Anybody have the 14th
Sounds good
is
to
fine
me.
with me?
It's my wife's birthday.
What was the date then?
Pick one.
November 14th.
Yep.
Okay. That's a Tuesday, right?
It's a Tuesday. Do we have a Board of Health? No, we don't have,
Well, it would be on the,
right, on Monday. We don't have a meeting that week, so. So I
Okay,
think
so-
the 14th would be good.
Time?
I believe they meet at 5:30. We'll have to confirm the time, so. I don't know if they're planning on doing this beforehand, maybe? I'm not sure, so.
And who's going to present? You?
I'm not sure what the format's gonna be. I'm not sure whether they're just gonna ask questions
yeah,
of
they
the
have to let
board.
us know exactly why they want it. I don't think they've
I
done
mean,
it.
are they reviewing what we did, or are they
I think they just wanna have a
be
discussion.
updated or understand
Yeah,
what we did?
Did you say the Sewer and Water Advisory Board recommended to them, or is that just not for sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have
So
to,
we'll have to get what they want, what it's about exactly. I'm
Okay,
guessing right now.
okay.
yeah.
But we should.
Now, we have a meeting on the 6th. of November, I believe.
I can go back through my emails.
Okay, so,
That's our next meeting, actually, I think is November 6th.
Yeah, so it says there's a future agenda request for the Board of Health, revisions to the town of Chatham nitrogen loading rate as it relates to variances to increase number of bedrooms. Joint Select Board, Board of Health. So I think they just want to ask us about our changes and
Okay.
reasons for it and how, I mean, my thought was that, it would relate to what they would be doing with the sewer, but I could be wrong. So,
okay, so we'll get that. And then, I understand 32 Mill Hill, we haven't heard back from the state. We should be soon. Any new update there, Judy?
I have no updates on that.
Okay, so supposedly it was kicked up.
Any day now,
So we'll see.
any day.
Any day now.
Not unusual. Okay, and then the last old business would be COVID flu update. I think Judy has some clinics and things.
We have a flu clinic this Thursday morning from 10 to 12. The link to register is on the town's website in the Health Division page. So anybody who wants a flu or COVID shot should go and register. And we are also having a health fair on Saturday at the community center. We will be giving flu shots away, flu shots that day, and there's also a link to that where you can register just for flu shots, not COVID. And we're also going to have all kinds of health screenings, some face painting for kids and healthy snacks, and they'll be doing things like bone density, blood pressure.
Like a health fair.
Diabetes. It's a health fair, yeah.
Where is it going to be?
At the community center on Saturday, October 21st, from 12 to 2. Yeah.
And do we have the COVID vaccine? There's been some difficulty getting it, I guess, since
VNA has the
CVS
vaccine,
didn't
yes.
have it.
The VNA has
We
vaccine
actually
for
have it
our
on hand.
clinics, yes.
We have it on hand.
Good.
So. And then if anybody can't make on Thursday's clinic, they should just give the health department a call. And we are having a town employee and school family clinic next week, the following week on the 26th, and there may be appointments available for that. So if people can't make it this Thursday, we can possibly and most likely fit them in at that clinic. So anybody can check with the health department on those. If they have any questions.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, then maybe we can go ahead and approve our minutes of October 2nd.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of October 2nd.
I'll second that.
All right, we can voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, those are approved. And then we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
and then we can take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the meeting's adjourned. Microphone's off.